If you want to start traveling, but you're not sure where to start to choose a destination, here are 8 ideas to get you started for planning that dream trip. And to help us out is Much. She's my little helper. She likes to come join us. I'm hoping she just lays down here. If she doesn't, that's okay. I know you're really here to watch her and not listen to me. So, that being said, let's start. My first recommendation to people when they are trying to figure out where they want to travel, but they're not sure what destination to choose or they feel overwhelmed is to look to books. There are so many wonderful books and stories that we've all read or heard over our lives. And a lot of times, the destinations in those books are real places or they're based off of real places. Over my travels, I have got to put in many, many places in books. I've gone to places from the Harry Potter series. I've gone to places from classics like Pride and Prejudice. I highly recommend books as a place to start. There's so many ways you can go with that. They can take you all over the world, which is kind of cool because a book can take you places in your imagination and it can take you places physically in our real world as well. Another place to start, which is somewhat of the same vein of thought, if you're not big into books, but you're big into movies, that is another place to look for inspiration for travel. There are so many places in movies that you can go see in real life. Again, done a lot of that, some intentionally, some unintentionally. I've been to places where Harry Potter films were filmed. I've been places where Pride and Prejudice was filmed. I've been to places where other guess yeah, what else? Lord of the Rings, just a lot of the big names. And yeah, I've said the same a couple times. You might think the only thing I read is Harry Potter and Pride and Prejudice, but that's not the case. I actually have never read Lord of the Rings, for example. I just happened to be there in New Zealand around the time the movies were being filmed, which goes back to when I started traveling in 2005. Traveled my whole life, good internationally. I've only traveled overseas since 2005. And I'm so sorry for the beeping in the background if you can hear it. But our little helper is rubbing against my clock. That makes noise when you rub against, well, in her case, you rub against it and it changes from time to weather to all sorts of things. So I do apologize. By the way, there are no edits here. This is all how it is. And yep, she's my little helper. Back to the topic at hand. If you maybe aren't big on movies, or maybe you're big on movies, but you're also big on TV shows, there's a lot of places from TV shows you can go to as well. To name some of the more recent TV shows that are huge, there are places you can go to, like Bath, where see, she distracts me. Like Bath, England, where Bridgerton is filmed. There's places like Paris for Emily in Paris, or Italy now, since she's spent a lot of time down there. It's another place to look for inspiration. There are so many places you can go, and there's even places off the beaten path. They don't have to be your main locations. One thing to just kind of footnote, if you do decide to use movies or TV shows as a place of inspiration, be aware these places are very, very busy now, much more than they were when I started traveling years and years ago, even 10 years ago. All these places are impacted by tourism. Some recommendations to help ease that would be going in the off season or going on a shoulder season, maybe potentially going midweek, depending on the destination. Just keep it in mind, and you never know. Maybe you'll get lucky if you go to one of these locations. There might be some filming. Could be cool. Never had it happen myself, but I would imagine it is possible. So another place to look for inspiration, which is probably where a lot of us start, or you have a folder of saves, is on social media. Tons of inspo there from people who have been there, done that. We hope. Just keep in mind that a lot of these places, once they're on social, they become famous and overrun with people, and social media is also the highlights. It's the glamorous stuff. They're not always what you see. I'm trying to think of a good example for me. Um, I can't think of one really quickly off the top of my head, of course, but here's one. Here's one recently. I went to the Chaldea in Andorra, which was wonderful and I enjoyed it and I'm glad I went. But it was I got the feeling it was a little overrated, a little set up for tourism, tons of people, and it was half closed for some renovations, and I maybe a little too hyped. That being said, I did enjoy it. I'm glad I went. I walked out of there more relaxed than I had been in the past probably 3 weeks. So just an example, just something to keep in mind. And that being said, there's still a ton of places on social that are great. So think about it, do your research, and then go ahead and book your trip. Another place to start is a lot closer to home with your friends and your family. Ask other people who have traveled where they went, what they loved, what their recommendations were. Ask family members as well, who may have traveled recently, or maybe they just have somewhere that they've always wanted to go and it gives you some inspiration on somewhere to start. Again, just keep in mind, asking family and friends, that everyone travels differently. Everyone has different preferences. So maybe ask them some of those questions as well. How much did it cost? Did you go in the on season, the off season, the shoulder season? What, are you a big foodie? And maybe on the flip side, you can also say, oh, well, I love food. So that's someone to ask, which actually isn't something I had written down as one of my 8 ideas, but finding people with the same travel friends with the same likes could also be a place to start. So another one, which actually that kind of rolls into the next thing that I was thinking about, and that I was going to talk about, are favorite activities. If one of your favorite things to do is go try new food, ask your family and friends that have been there. I'm not a big food person. I'm a big dancer on top of traveling. So I've been to places that I've been solely just to attend a dance event, which has turned into, wonderful magical travels. It's how I ended up in Malaysia at a friend's dance event that she puts on there every year. But there's other things I love to do that have brought me amazing travel experiences. Another one could be horseback riding. I love horseback riding. I've been horseback riding in Argentina, Cuba, Scotland, Ireland. I would love to go in England. I haven't quite made that one happen. North America, which is where I'm based in the United States. So that has taken me all over places. I've met some amazing, wonderful people that I wouldn't have met otherwise. And one of the great things about choosing a destination based on your favorite activity is, when you show up, the people you're going to meet are also interested in the same thing that you're interested in. So you have common ground starting right there. And it just helps make things easier, especially if you're nervous, if you're unsure, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've gone horseback riding somewhere before. It's okay because these people have the same lights. It just helps break the ice, so to speak. That being said, um, she just likes to come alive during videos. It's such a distraction. Anyway, keeping to the topic at hand, even though I know everyone loves to see her more than listen to me jabber, is family history. So my family on both sides, my grandparents were big travelers. They did a lot of trips over the years. They have tons of photo albums, shelves and shelves of photo albums. This was obviously back when there wasn't digital, so they share their travels through photo albums, and I have great memories of looking through photo albums with my grandparents and seeing the trips that they did and the things that they had written down. My grandmother on my dad's side she was a great note taker of stuff. I mean, you can read through her albums and see like what they had for dinner, for example, while they were up camping in Alaska. So, um, family history, and family past trips. I'm actually gonna combine my last 2 8 into past family trips and family history. So, got a little distracted by the kitty and jumped ahead to past family history. So, talking about the photo albums and everything, that's more of the past family trips category that I wanted to talk about. Um, I have been able to go to places that my grandparents have been to. Sometimes I'm able to find photos of the places that they were at and them standing in them and recreate those pictures, which I always think is kind of a bonus point. It's just cool for me if you're into that kind of thing to see the different generations over the years stand in the same places and have what you would think maybe are similar experiences, but maybe not. So, yeah, so past family trips, and it doesn't have to be generational, like, couple generations back. It can even be stuff that you did with your parents. There's tons of places I went with my parents when I was very young that I would love to go back to now as an adult, like Baja California. I spent a lot of my time down there as a kid, and one of these days I will make it back. So now the last category that I got distracted by the kitty, and I'm gonna make this one actually make sense. Family history. What do I mean by family history? Using my cousin as an example. Actually, I think she's my second cousin, technically. I get a little confused with that, but it's my dad's cousin. She chased the family history back to Denmark, and she was able to go to places that my that side of the family, my family, lived and where they were baptized, where they were buried. So if you're into the family history, that's certainly something that you can go look back at and you can go to those places. A lot of these places, especially in Europe and smaller towns, they still have those records. It's just a really cool experience. And being based in the United States, something I did recently is I was in New York and I spent part of my day on Ellis Island and was able to see my family names, the same family and from that came over from Denmark, see their names on the wall there at Ellis Island. I hadn't done that in probably 20 years or so. I've been to Ellis Island before, but I was a school kid at the time. So to get to do that as an adult was a wonderful experience. And that's what I mean by family history. If you have family that has immigrated, that has ties places, it's really, really cool to go back and see that and see where you come from. If you're not into that, you got 7 other options that you can look for. So I know that was a whirlwind, but those are 8 places to start to go ahead and pick a destination or destinations to travel. Um, yeah, I wish I had a bonus. I feel like I should have picked a bonus, but I don't have a bonus. So that being said, um, I will catch you on the next one. Bye.